From the moment that we first met, it was a connection that I knew I was going to have a mentor and a friend and somebody that was going to teach me how to really champion my hometown. Personally, he was special because he really saw you and he empowered you to be the best person that you could be, whether it was personally or professionally. And I'm really going to miss that.
Mike and I met when he first arrived from Michigan, and a portion of my family is from the Detroit, Michigan area. So when he came to town initially and we met, we kind of bonded around Detroit and all of the old and dear business friends that I had. Mike's reputation had preceded, and they said, "Hey man, you guys stole one of our best. He's coming to town." And so when he came, he seeked me out. He said, "Hey man," he said, "I've heard a lot about you. All of my buddies in Detroit told me to connect with you." And so, we hit it off instantly.
So what makes Mike Finney so special to me is that twinkle in his eye, the twinkle from mentoring youth, the twinkle that comes from having built a legacy of workforce development, teaching these young people work ethic. And his work with the Beacon Council was just the icing on the cake, if you will, because his commitment to young people started long before he came to Miami. And so I will forever be reminded of not only his love for children, his love for mentoring, but his commitment to community. And when I asked him a question on one of my podcasts with him about just why it's so important, his response was, "I was privileged to be a part of their life." Now, we are privileged to have had Michael as a part of our lives.
He is committed to education and mentorship. And it's just unbelievable. People can look at things and see what they are. He would look and see what they can be.
One of the things that impressed me about Mike was the love that he had for his family. Whenever we had a conversation, his wife, Gina's name always came up. He was very proud of his sons, very excited about one of them perhaps moving to Miami. Mike really engaged quickly with the community in Miami. He became a Miamian very quickly. He was always looking to find ways to better the community, to recruit more business to South Florida.
One of the things that I think is so important about Michael was his ability to listen to folks. I think he made everyone feel like they were heard, and so few people in this area do that. And he even did that for me when I talked about inclusion and how important it was for me to make this part of the Beacon's mission when we launched Opportunity Miami. It really was a pleasure to work with him. A great mind, a great asset to our community. We're going to remember him, and a lot of the growth that we'll see in the years to come is because of his dedicated service.
One or a few of the things that inspired me about Mike is, first of all, he was a great listener. He always had that calm demeanor about him, that quiet confidence, and he always came with solutions to the table, but he did want to hear you out, and he did want to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts so that then he can mold the best solution. And lastly, he always wanted to also serve the entire community, not only the big businesses, but the small businesses, and those that are underprivileged. So he was not just about bringing big businesses to Miami, he was about helping everyone.
He does great work in a quiet way, but in an impactful way. And that's why you hear a lot of people talk about how humble he is.
I had heard that, Mike was riding one of those small scooters and fell off and broke his hip. And we, had been talking about riding a scooter. And I was looking at him, shopping around for him, and then when I saw him hobbling around, I told him, I said, you gave the biggest proof to my wife that she would need to not have me get my old butt on a scooter. I said, your unfortunate fall saved my life, and we laughed about it. So every time he saw me, he said, "Hey, how's your wife doing? You bought a scooter yet?" Yeah.
Something that Mike shared that brings a smile to my face. And when he told the story of one afternoon, he was cutting his grass and he got a call from his little brother. Tyrone. And Tyrone wanted to spend some time with him. He said, well, I'm kind of busy right now, but Mike Finney, he went and picked up Tyrone, and he was still doing yard work. And Tyrone was sitting there watching him do the yard work, and Tyrone's like, hey, let me help. And Mike said, well, if you're going to help me, then you need to get paid. And he said from that point on, every week, Tyrone would come to take care of his lawn, and Mike would pay him. But then Mike started hearing from his neighbors, who's that kid doing your lawn? And Tyrone introduced himself as Mike's lawn man. And so then Tyrone went on, look at the legacy of Mike Finney. Tyrone went on to negotiate with the neighbors a better price than what Mike was giving him. So he then came back and renegotiated with Mike, and obviously Tyrone won.
Mike and I, we would have a 30-minute check-in every week. And what Mike shared with me is he said, the way I try to manage and lead is I'm trying to always look for the best in people and really focus on that. And find that, so while there might be some things that, presenting some struggles, that let's find that really one good thing, and then let's build on that, and let's focus on that. And Mike, and he said that was his approach as a leader. And that's something that I'll always take with me and think about.
I think going forward in my career, I will probably find myself asking many times of how Mike would have handled the situation, or what kind of lessons that I learned from him that I can carry forward. And in particular, probably some things that I aspire to, and probably we should all aspire to, which is the notion of simultaneously being very, very confident, very self-confident, but also not approaching things with any ego. And it's very rare to find that combination, and Mike had both of those qualities, and it's something that I can only hope that I carried forward in my career.
Just every day, seeing the way that Mike carried himself, the eloquence in the way that he spoke, grace and poise in his leadership, the confidence he exhibited in his work product, it was just truly inspiring and quite remarkable.
It's a fact that, in the beginning I said, I wanted to say Mike was amazing, and he was. But I also want to say that perhaps isn't the right word, because Mike's legacy is here, and it's alive, and it is in each of us. I challenge everyone, come together and take Mike's legacy and pass it forward.